The trade war between China and the U.S. is the biggest economic and market news being followed by everyone on planet Earth today. That happened around nighttime, Nigeria. Now, this morning, the Chinese has issued an official statement, which is now being reported on media platforms across the world. China's government has threatened unspecified, quote, necessary countermeasures, unquote, if Trump's planned tariff goes ahead. According to the Commerce Ministry, it says the Trump's announcement late Thursday is a violation of its agreement with President Xi Jinping in June to revive negotiations aimed at ending their fight over Beijing's trade surplus and technology ambitions. The statement says the ministry said if the U.S. measures took effect, quote, China will have to take necessary countermeasures to resolutely defend its core interests. That's the statement issued today. Says all the consequences will be borne by the United States. Quote, and end of quote. According to the Chinese Ministry of Trade, says this, all the consequences will be borne by the U.S. President Trump on Thursday imposed 10% on the balance of $300 billion of Chinese goods, which will be coming into the United States. The implications are out there for everyone who's been following this over the last couple of hours around 11 o'clock Nigerian time yesterday. This is a bigger trouble. The global markets are taking a hit right now, as we have heard. Oil prices tapering, heading south on the news, and the stock markets in Asia finishing widely in the red today. What will be the reaction across the rest of the world as we open the first Friday in the month of August? This is anyone's guess. Let's continue that later on. But meantime, look at the Nigeria's securities market. Yesterday evening was to be a dinner and an award event, but it was a time between the Association of Asian Houses of Nigeria and the representative of the government to talk about the state of the market and the way forward, looking at some recent developments. Let's take a listen to the head of the SEC, Mary Odo, who represented the Vice President of the Federal Republic, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, at the dinner event. What exactly is the government thinking about the securities market represented here by the SEC? Take a listen to Mary.
Members of this association have directly contributed to our economy by aggregating the much-needed funding to support entities in the private and public sectors. The capital market is essential and key to achieving the economic goals of our administration, as enshrined in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. We have worked hard to ensure a stable macroeconomic environment, which is necessary to attract and sustain investments that we need to propel our economy forward. As you are aware, the ERGP recognizes critical sectors for financing to include agriculture, infrastructure, power, and SMEs. No doubt, the government cannot do this alone. Government must evolve from an omnibus provider of citizens' needs into a force for eliminating the blockages that restrict innovation and market-based solutions. In this regard, government has collaborated with the capital market community, and particularly with members of your association, in structuring novel arrangements to fund infrastructure development through instruments such as the FGN Sukuk Bond, FGN Green Bond, infrastructure funds, as well as the planned trading of tax credit instruments. We see the capital market as an important driver of our growth agenda, and we will continue to collaborate with the capital market community to support its effort to positioning our market to where it should be. This administration, and especially my office, has supported the 10-year capital market master plan implementation initiatives since inception in 2015. As many of you may be aware, in the past few months after the 2019 elections, I have engaged various stakeholders from the capital market community and on several issues, some urgent and others of a longer term tenure. For instance, I hosted the Capital Market Master Plan Implementation Council, CAMIC, a few weeks ago, where I received updates of successes recorded so far on the master plan implementation efforts and some of the challenges that need to be addressed by governments and other stakeholders. On the part of the government, we are already tackling the issues regarding stamp duties collection and the extension of the VAT exemption on capital market transactions. These issues are being addressed currently, and a resolution would be announced very soon. We have also commenced work on other aspects of CAMIC's requests that require government intervention, and will be collaborating with many of you in the capital market community to successfully address them. My office is actually represented on the CAMIC. I will therefore be receiving periodic reports on suggestions to further strengthen our support of your efforts and the market as a whole. We all desire a capital market that would broaden access to economic prosperity by enabling the emergence of financially responsible citizens, accelerating wealth creation and wealth distribution, providing capital to small and medium-scale enterprises, and catalyzing housing finance. Let me therefore commend the Securities and Exchange Commission, CAMIC, and the capital market community for the laudable accomplishments so far recorded in the implementation of the master plan, especially in the areas of dematerialization of share certificates, e-dividend mandates, facilitation of access to alternative investments, as well as various initiatives to enhance the commodities ecosystem. Indeed, government and the private sector need to continue to work together to create sustainable businesses and provide the necessary jobs for our teeming youths. In this area, an association such as the AIHN that channels funds to companies and infrastructure is at the forefront. I would like to use this opportunity, therefore, to congratulate the recipient of tonight's awards and charge you to remember that the reward for work well done is opportunity to do more.
That's the head of the SEC, Mary Oduk, representing the Vice President at yesterday's dinner event of the Association of Issuing Houses of Nigeria. Of course, the AIHN is basically an umbrella body for all investment banks in the country and others who are engaged in the business of issuing houses, operations in the capital market. So let's listen to the president of the AIHN, Chuka Eseka, who is also the managing director and CEO at Vetiva Capital Management, about what the association is doing and what their focus is as far as the relationship with the government is concerned. This is Chuka Eseka.
Today, we are here to recognize and celebrate excellence. And our esteemed Vice President is excellence personified. The presence of the Vice President sends a very strong signal and is a recognition of the importance of the capital markets. We are truly honored. We recognize that the effort required in steering the Nigerian economy to a diversified 6 to 7% per annum GDP growing nation with single-digit interest rates is an enormous task. And as such, we would like to use this forum to reiterate the preparedness of the capital market to partner with government at all levels to build a country of our dreams. Now is the time for the capital market to invest intellectual capital and develop solutions for funding key national priority sectors, such as power, transportation, and telecommunications, to achieve transformational economic benefits. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, today is a day for recognizing and celebrating excellence. However, since we have the presence of His Excellency with us, permit me to use this occasion to pass on quietly a few issues that are very close to the heart of the market. One of such issues is the consistently high interest rates, especially on short-term risk-free instruments. which is a disincentive to long-term investments and unfavorable to our equity capital markets, the source of risk capital formation in any economy. We are not unaware of the economic challenges which forces a tight monetary policy regime, but the need for fiscal and monetary policy balance to prevent the crowding out of the capital market cannot be overemphasized. Your Excellency, we advocate favorable tax structures for the capital markets, as studies have shown that listed companies are inherently more transparent in their financial reporting and pay much more in taxes compared to unlisted companies. We seek tax incentives such as reduced company income tax for a limited period and reserving government privileges like pioneer status for either only public companies or private companies with a committed, defined period for listing. We think this action will greatly improve equity listings in the Nigerian capital market. Furthermore, ending the incident of double taxation on collective investment schemes such as REITs, as well as abolishing VAT, which is a consumption tax on capital market transactions. We note that the 10-year exemption on VAT expired on the 24th of July. So such actions will support improved equity listings and enhance capital market transaction levels. We also urge the federal government to uphold the waiver of the 0.075% stamp duties on stock exchange transactions fees, which was announced since 2012, but has not been honored by government. Your Excellency, we encourage government to sustain its ease of doing business reforms in the regulatory environment. In this regard, we urge the federal government to inaugurate the board of PENCOM, just as it recently inaugurated the SEC board. This will strengthen the governance structure of the pension industry and empower the regulator to make pending and long overdue investment policy decisions for the benefit of the market and the economy. We are also still awaiting presidential assent to the Company and Allied Matters Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2018. In concluding, as an association, we promise to continue to deploy innovation in our operations to meet the demands of our clients and partners. We are confident that we can continue to shape the industry transformation into a more vibrant one and look forward to the continuation of many great partnerships for years to come.
Chuka Eseka, the president of the Association of Asian Houses of Nigeria's list of measures and things they would want the government to do for the securities market.